A couple of questions on this, and it's what do you think about accreditation in the schools? It's been said a couple of different ways, so I'm going to simplify it. David, you first.
So the NEASC Accreditation in the high school is actually what got me involved in this race to begin with. I'm actually responsible for the NEASC Accreditation at the college. While it's not the same as a high school accreditation, it's a similar process. You go through a self-study and a peer review process, so it's very similar, so I'm very familiar with it. And when I heard last spring, just at soccer practice, that the high school possibly had lost their accreditation, there were issues with their accreditation for NEASC because they didn't do the self-study in 2012, and parents said we just want to get some support and go at the school committee meeting, I went and just listened and actually spoke at that meeting. I think accreditation is very important. I think that while the controversy is out there whether colleges actually look at accreditation or not, I know that I've spoken to many admissions officers as this process has happened, and while they can't publicly necessarily come forward and say it's an issue, if they have two applications in front of them and one student, the students are exactly the same, and one comes from an accredited high school and one comes from a high school that has questionable accreditation, you know what decision they're going to make, and you'll never know. They'll never tell the student, they don't tell the parents, they don't make notes of it. But hell, that process does happen. So accreditation is very important. I'm glad to see that we're participating. We've led the charge to change the NEASC accreditation process, self-study process. Right now, I hope we follow through with that, and I hope we have a very transparent and inclusive process as we move forward. Because it's important for everybody in the community to be involved, not just school administrators, but the teachers, the students, parents, community members like you, anybody who wants to be involved and who has an interest in the school, which should be everybody in town, should be involved in that process, the self-study process, so we have a good result that can be used as a strategy plan. Thanks.
Tom?
The question was, what do I think about accreditation? I assume the question refers to NEASC accreditation. That seems to be the subject of discussion. NEASC, just so people understand, is a private organization. It's a voluntary organization. Most cities and towns in Massachusetts are a member, not all of them are. Charter schools aren't, for instance. What NEASC does is they come out once every 10 years and they do a study of your school district, or your school, high school, I'm sorry. And it's a fairly extensive process. It can be a little bit of an expensive process, very time-consuming process. And at the end of the process, they'll give you a list of items that they feel need attention in your school. It could be plant-related facilities, it can be curriculum, any number of things. We are accredited. Most people, when they say accredited, they think it's you're a licensed high school from the state that you happen to be located in, so that you can give high school diplomas and your students can move on. Obviously, we're a Tier 1 high school, Department of Education in Massachusetts. NEASC had some severe problems with their process. We stepped back from them a couple of years ago. There was a 3-year ongoing discussion. They've revised their process. We jumped back on board. No student from Burlington ever graduated from Burlington High School without, in the last 25 years or so, without having the NEASC accreditation on their diploma or on their transcript. So I'm not quite sure, frankly, that people are looking at things and making decisions on whether or not there's a NEASC thing there. We are accredited, and we always have been, and we will continue to be.
So with all due respect, I have to disagree with that last sentiment. I spoke directly to someone at NEASC yesterday who confirmed my concern that there was a period of time where Burlington High School did not have its accreditation. Between the time that our membership lapsed in 2014 and the time that we again became a candidate school when we re-engaged in 2015, we did not have accreditation from what I am told. I think there's been a lot of semantic discussions and arguments going around about this, and I'm not sure that all of those matter. I think what's more concerning is the way that the matter was initially handled and then the way that parents were treated and approached when they subsequently discovered it and brought it to everyone's attention. I think, strangely, this goes back to me for the bus question, towards the later start time question. One of my biggest concerns is Burlington, yes, there were 50 schools that signed on a letter, and yes, the NEASC procedures needed to be changed and revamped, and Yes, Dr. Conti was a pioneer in that, and thank goodness for that and for him. Burlington was the only school that withdrew its membership. If we need to wait for the entire league to determine that we're going to move to a later start time because it may affect some after-school activities, I just would have preferred to see us stay at the table and negotiate or discuss with NEASC or anybody else while we maintained our membership, rather than to run the risk at all.
So I think what a lot of people don't know is we did stay at the table. And to clarify things, we have a letter that states that NEASC extended our accreditation until sometime in 2015. It's a date uncertain because you never know when they're going to come out and check things out, give you a brand new stamp of approval. We were also offered an extension until 2016. I think that I know that all of our students have graduated from an accredited high school. I think that this is a red herring, frankly. This is an issue that people are trying to make into something that it isn't. What really matters is not a voluntary accreditation by an outside organization. What really matters is our validation by the state. And the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has completely and totally validated us. We are a Tier 1 high school. Sadly, the city of Woburn currently has a Tier 3 high school, and I'm sure their NEASC accreditation is just fine, and so I would say, where would you rather be? Would you rather have a Tier 1 high school, or would you rather have a Tier 3 high school? The NEASC accreditation process we withdrew from. We stayed in touch with them. They changed what they were doing. We're back doing a whole new process with them. And okay, and thank you for understanding and listening.